Alright, welcome back. Mic check 1 2 looks good. Let's do a noise floor. Wow, okay, noise floor is especially low. I'm on my treadmill, which is kind of a surprise. Um, so yeah, let's do another automate your network video. That's turned out to be a interesting series now that we've got actual things happening in the lab. The lab's all built out. We've got a campus network topology simulated, worked with ChatGPT to build that out in GNS3. Now we're working on actual Ansible playbooks, and we're running actual Ansible plays on the lab. The problem we're having, though, is with logging into the devices. Ansible doesn't make it very clear, in my opinion, what username it will use, what key it will use, and the other thing that I really don't like about Ansible is it appears that there are multiple ways of feeding it in the username for it to be used. You can put it in the INI file, you can put it in the playbook, and in my mind, that's just a really bad way of doing things. There should be one clear and consistent way to do, one clear and consistent thing, like defining the host name you want to be used to log into the device. And yeah, like to do it per, like you should be able to define multiple host names in multiple circumstances for sure, but for it to be unclear whether you do it in the host file, whether in a general group vars setting file, or whether in the playbook itself, in my mind is kind of unexcusable. All right, so let's open up the OOB admin machine, and we'll start off this session by running that playbook again. We've already got everything here, and we'll do everything in a new chat with ChatGPT. So we'll open up a new chat. We could continue the chat from before, but let's just do a new one, new day, new chat, and we'll start off by running the playbook. Okay, so now we need to go, here, and open Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now it's time to run the commands. I think my bash history is probably we gotta shrink this. There we go. Oh, that's kind of surprising. There's no history file. Okay. Well, let's see if there's one here. All right. Okay, yeah, so there it is. bash underscore history. All right. Okay, so running that playbook, so we can look in the book for the command. It's Ansible-playbook, and then campus facts is what I called it, and then -s check. And this is the other thing that's strange. It's not automatically pulling the host file, even though it's in the same present working directory. So it's okay. You can just do a -i and feed it specifically. I did try changing it to hosts, and it still didn't work. But that's okay. So it's Ansible playbook. And let's take a look at the book again to see if there's like a virtual environment enabled. Okay, so I don't see one. So let's keep going. Oh, and let's go to the directory. Okay, so then it's playbooks, campus, tactical, campus facts.yaml. Okay, yeah, so we're getting the same problem. We've got an invalid shell type specified, network underscore CLI, or the plugin for that shell type is missing. So we can go back to the chat we had because I think the plugin is missing. So we did get instructions for how to install the missing plugin. So yeah, let's try installing NetMiko. And we're doing this in a virtual space. Okay, so we're going to continue the conversation. So here's a question I have. So I've got modules missing when I'm trying to run Ansible. So in the Ansible directories, like, are there virtual environments that I need to activate?
Ansible itself does not create virtual environments by default.
Okay.
However, when you install Ansible via pip Python Package Manager, you might have installed it within a virtual environment, intentionally or not. If you're encountering issues with missing Ansible modules, there are a few possible explanations. Ansible was installed in a virtual environment. If you installed Ansible within a virtual environment, you'll need to activate that environment every time you want to use Ansible. If it's within a virtual environment directory structure, you'll need to activate that environment to use Ansible. Activate the virtual environment. If you identify that Ansible is within a virtual environment, navigate to the virtual environments directory and activate it, as described in the previous answer. Check Ansible's configuration. Use the Ansible config command to view Ansible's current configuration. Bash copy code Ansible config dump. This will show you all of Ansible's configuration options, including where it's looking for modules, Ansible_library. Ensure this is set correctly. Module dependencies. If a specific module is failing, check its documentation on the Ansible website. Some modules require additional Python libraries to be installed. These can usually be installed with pip. Reinstall Ansible. If you're still having issues, consider reinstalling Ansible, either within the virtual environment if you're using one, or system-wide. If you're using a virtual environment, make sure it's activated first. Bash copy code pip install Ansible. Upgrade Ansible Galaxy Collections. With newer versions of Ansible, many modules have been moved to Ansible Galaxy Collections. Ensure you have the necessary collections installed. For instance, if you're working with Cisco IOS devices, you might need to install the Cisco IOS collection. Bash copy code Ansible Galaxy Collection install Cisco IOS. By following these steps, you should be able to identify and rectify issues with missing Ansible modules. If you continue to have issues, it may be helpful to have more specific details about which modules are missing and any error messages you're seeing.
Oh. I guess I'll try sudo apt-get install Ansible. I'll just try reinstalling Ansible, or like updating it or whatever. Okay, so Ansible is fine. I should have a sedentary timer. Oh, I forgot to start my sedentary timer. So I'm sure it's been okay. I'm gonna just say if I want some sedentary time, I can take it. I probably need that very soon. So let's try pip install netmiko. Okay, and this is my global environment, not a virtual environment, so it's not optimized for Python. So we kind of have to do things in a not optimized way. It's typically better to have a virtual environment. And you know what? I can make a virtual environment, and I can do a git ignore. Why don't I do that? Because that's just, in my mind, kind of better habits. So I'm going to do a Control C on this. And then I'm going to do a Python. And I'm not sure which version I'm using. So let's try the playbook again, but let's try it with the VVV and try to see what version of Python runs. Yeah, so it looks like it's trying to SSH. Oh, I see. Okay, so it looks like there's something happening here. Password. I think you should know. Use gposh. Okay, yeah, this looks fine. It's trying to SSH into the firewalls, and it does that unsuccessfully. But here it successfully goes in, but it doesn't know what to do with this plugin. So, we can see we're using Python 2.7. Yeah, Python version 2.7. So let's do a Python 2.7 -m VNV virtual env VNV. Let's ask. Can't I just use Python 3? So is Ansible using Python 2.7 or is it using Python 3? If it, like for me, no. Here's the thing. So like I looked it up, and I see on my system it's using Python 2.7. So like, how do I get it to use Python 3 instead?
If ends. Eyeball on your system is using Python 2.7, but you wanted to use Python 3, you have a few steps you can follow. Here's how you can guide Ansible to use Python 3. Check available Python versions. Before making any changes, verify that you have Python 3 installed on your system. Bash copy code Python 3 version. This should return the version of Python 3 installed on your system. E.g. Python 3. 8. 10. Install Ansible using Python 3. If you installed Ansible using pip, it's possible that you use the Python 2 version of pip. To ensure you're using Python 3, you can use pip3.
I have to.
Bash copy code of pip3, install Ansible, upgrade this will install, or upgrade, Ansible using the Python 3 version of pip. Verify Ansible's Python version. After installing, you can check which Python Ansible is using with. Bash copy code Ansible version. This should indicate that Ansible is using Python 3. Set Python interpreter and Ansible configuration. If you want to specify the Python interpreter that Ansible uses for its operations on the managed nodes, you can set it in the Ansible configuration file or in your inventory. In Ansible. CFG. Any copy code, defaults, interpreter underscore Python equals, USR, bin, Python 3 in your inventory file. Any copy code, all. Bars, Ansible underscore Python underscore interpreter equals, USR, bin, Python 3 replace, USR, bin, Python 3 with the appropriate path if Python 3 is located elsewhere on your system. Transitioning playbooks. If you have playbooks or roles that specifically target Python 2 features, you may need to update them to be compatible with Python 3. In general, newer versions of Ansible modules and plugins are designed to be compatible with Python 3, especially since Python 2 reached its end of life in January 2020. By following these steps, you should be able to transition Ansible to use Python 3 on your system.
Okay, so now let's install. Let's uninstall Python Ansible because we're gonna get it through pip, and we're gonna get. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I've installed it through pip. I don't know if I've installed Ansible through pip. How can I verify how I installed it?
To determine how you installed Ansible, you can use a combination of methods based on your operating system. Check with pip and pip3. You can check both pip for Python 2 and pip3 for Python 3 to see if Ansible is listed. Bash copy code to pip list, grep Ansible, and bash copy code to pip3 list. Grep Ansible if Ansible shows up in the output, it means it was installed using pip or pip3, respectively. Check with package managers. Depending on your operating system, you may have used a package manager to install Ansible. For Debian, Ubuntu, bash copy coded pkgl, grep Ansible for CentOS, Red Hat. Bash copy code list installed, grep Ansible, or if you're using the newer package manager. Bash copy code DNF list installed, grep Ansible for Fedora. Bash copy code DNF list installed.
Okay, so obviously I didn't use pip to install it because pip isn't even installed in my global environment in Python. Sorry, not in Python, but in my operating system. I don't have pip even installed. I'd have to use my apt package manager to install pip. I obviously used apt to install Ansible.
Alright. Since you installed Ansible using the app package manager, it's likely tied to the system's default Python version, which, in older systems especially, might be Python 2.
Yeah.
7. If you want Ansible to use Python 3, here are some steps to follow.
I do.
Install Python 3. If not already installed, bash copy code sudo apt update sudo apt install Python 3 pip reinstall Ansible using pip3.
Okay, so I'm gonna uninstall it. So I'm gonna do sudo apt remove Ansible. Okay, and then I will set up pip3. And then I will install Ansible using pip3. Okay, and I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I have to actually hit it so that the symbol changes. All right, I'm back. Let's keep going with this. So, sedentary time is ticking. That's good. Otherwise, I will be very, very unhealthy, which I currently am. So I'm fixing that. So next I gotta fix Ansible. So I did a apt update. So now it's sudo apt install Python 3, which I think I already have installed, but it'll just upgrade it if it's already installed, and if it's already installed, it says. So yep. Okay, and then we're going to reinstall Ansible using pip3. And I could be using the Ansible official documentation for this. And remember, as I said, there's a difference between primary and secondary sources. You know, that's kind of the foundations of critical thinking is knowing the quality of your sources. And yeah, this is a much less quality source than the official documentation. Yeah, so I'm gonna have this up, and if I ever get really lost, I'll try to get into the habit more of seeing if there's a primary source. So like, here we go. Here's one for network automation. Yeah, so this is like just as good as the book itself. Automate your network. You know, this brings you through everything. So, um, yeah. So like this is what we're dealing with now. Like we need to um, escalate. We need to make it so that we put. So like here's the INI file. Actually, I'm not sure what this is. Oh, yeah, so you can create it in INI format, or you can create it in YAML format. Okay, and I don't know why the page froze like that. It's probably an issue on my end. All right. So next is okay, so we've got Python 3 and Python 3 pip. So let's do sudo pip 3 install Ansible. And then we might need to adjust the path as well. All right, so almost done here. Oh, actually, I don't know how long it's going to take to do each. Okay, we do need to update the INI file, so let's do that. Okay, and I'll do it here and then push it over. Okay, so we got the vars down here. So let's put that actually here, all vars, yeah. Okay, and then we'll stage, we'll say updating Ansible to Python 3. Commit and sync. And we can do this while that's going, not a big deal. Okay, there we go. Yeah, looks good. That's working. So now we've got this. Yeah, and this says to clean it up afterwards, which I don't know. Oh, that would work because this is the package manager, but you can do it before. I was concerned that if you run this, it would undo the steps earlier, but using a different method, so it wouldn't overlap with the stuff you did with pip. Okay, so this is taking quite a long time. I'm kind of not sure what to do with this taking so long. Let's take a look at my sedentary time. Sedentary time is still quite a bit. Huh. I guess we can look through the book a little bit more. So what we need is we need it to be here changed. And the change is probably the copy run start. And then once it executes without errors, then we do it without the check mode. And then we have our repository built out. All right, I don't know how long it's going to take, so I'll pause it and be back when it's done. All right, I'm back. I think everything's looking good. We've got Ansible running on Python 3 now. So if I do the playbook again with the triple verbose, hopefully things are better. So now we can see, yep, it's running on Python 3. We still got the same error, but that's okay because we do have actually one less error. So now it's just looking for that plugin. Yep, and we got the firewalls unreachable. That's fine. That's what we want to see. And then we've got the rest failed because we don't have that plugin. So let's do tell me how to install the so INSTAL. Sorry, I just did a grip workout, so my fingers are kind of busted. How to install the shell, the network CLI shell plugin.
_CLI connection plugin is included with Ansible
No,
by
it's
default when you
not.
install the base Ansible package. It's used to connect to network devices over SSH, and you don't need to install it separately. However, if you're receiving errors related to the network_CLI plugin, it could be due to several reasons. Older Ansible version. Older versions of Ansible might not support network_CLI or might have issues with it. Always make sure you're using a recent version of Ansible, especially when working with network devices. Missing Python dependencies. For certain operations, Ansible's network_CLI requires specific Python libraries. For example, the Paramigo library is often required. You can install it using pip. Bash copy code of pip3 install Paramigo proper playbook configuration. Ensure that your playbook is correctly configured to use network_CLI. For example, YAML copy code hosts network_devices gather_facts no connection. Network_CLI tasks name execute show version is_command commands show version in this playbook connection. Network_CLI setting specifies that Ansible should use the network_CLI connection plugin. Proper inventory configuration. Make sure your inventory is set up correctly for network_CLI. For instance, you should specify the Ansible_connection variable.
Okay, we'll do this for me. Tell me when you are ready. I will first paste in the hosts.ini file, and file. Please verify and correct it. Then I will paste. Oh, sedentary. I can't ignore that timer. All right. All right. All right. No sedentary lifestyle for me. That is very, very unhealthy. And I am hoping to. I am already older, so I need to be thinking about this quite a bit. All right. So here we go. I can definitely put it down a notch, though. Okay, there we go. So let's go back to the AI conversation, which is in this other window. Okay, well, do this for me, please. Verify my host.ini files. Tell me when you're ready. I will first paste in and I'll paste inventory file. We'll paste this playbook file. Please verify corrected.
Of course. Exclamation mark. Please go ahead and paste the hosts. Any inventory file first, and I'll review it for you. Once we're done with that, we can move on to the campus_facts. YML playbook file. Your hosts. Any file is well structured. Here's a breakdown of what I see. Groups for device locations and roles. Data center, core, internet, WAN, FLOR01. These are standard groups that categorize your devices based on their roles or locations in the network. Child groups. For example, data center, children, core, children, etc. These groups are used to specify child groups under a parent group. It's a good way to categorize devices even further, especially based on their OS. OS-specific groups. For example, data center _IOS, core _Junos, etc. These groups categorize devices based on their operating system. Variables. All. Vars group specifies the Python interpreter for all hosts. This is good to ensure all devices use Python 3. The other. Vars groups specify the OS and shell type for the specific device categories. Here are my observations and recommendations. Python interpreter. You've specified Ansible _Python _interpreter equals USR bin Python 3 for all hosts, which is good. Consistency. The inventory seems consistent in the way it categorizes and defines devices. Network OS and shell types. The device OS and shell types are correctly defined for each device group. This is crucial for Ansible to know how to communicate with each device. Recommendation. Ensure that the host names provided, e.g. data ds01, techies core01, etc. are resolvable either via DNS or VN, etc. host entry. If you have any specific credentials that you use to connect to these devices, they need to be specified either in the inventory file, playbook, or via an Ansible vault for security reasons. Make sure those are in place before you run the playbook. Overall, this is a well-organized inventory file. Let's move on to the campus_facts. YML playbook file next. Please paste its contents so I can review it. Your camp. S_facts. YML playbook is structured to gather facts from devices based on their OS types, and then save the gathered facts into a specified directory in a JSON format. Here's the breakdown and suggestions. Play information. Name. Descriptive name. Hosts. Running on all hosts. Considering the inventory file you provided, it will run on every device. Remote_user. Specifies the user as gposh to log into the devices. Tests. Blocks. A great way to group tasks and provide error handling. Device fact gathering. Based on OS types, iOS, Junos, EOS. You are using a conditional based on group_names, which is a good approach to selectively run tasks. File saving. The facts are saved in the documentation, inventory_hostname, recon_playbooks, inventory_hostname_facts directory. Error handling. Rescue. To handle any errors during the execution of the block. Right now, you are printing a debug message, which is a good start. Later, you could add more detailed logging or notifications. Always. This will always run after the block, irrespective of whether it was successful or failed. Good for cleanup tasks or confirmatory messages. Here are some suggestions and points to consider. Variable directory paths. Ensure that the directories such as Documentation, inventory underscore hostname, recon underscore playbooks, inventory underscore hostname, underscore facts. Exists or you have a task that creates them before trying to save file there.
I mean, I guess it
FortiGate
does.
module placeholder. You've commented out a placeholder for FortiGate devices. Once you have the necessary Ansible module for gathering facts from FortiGate devices, you can fill in the appropriate details. Connection and authentication. Ensure that you can connect to the devices using the provided remote underscore user. If you require SSH keys or passwords for authentication, those need to be handled either via Ansible's vars underscore prompt, vault, or other mechanisms. Module version. Ensure that the Ansible modules, IOS underscore facts, Junos underscore facts, EOS underscore facts, etc. you are using are compatible with the Ansible version you have installed. Group names. The conditionals in your playbook are checking against IOS, Junos, and EOS. In your inventory file, you use group names like datacenter underscore IOS, core underscore Junos, etc. The conditionals in the playbook won't match these group names directly. Instead, you should check for datacenter underscore IOS, datacenter underscore Junos, and so on. Overall, the playbook is well structured. Ensure the necessary directories exist, and you handle the authentication requirements before running the playbook.
Okay, I can have some sedentary time if I want it. I'm feeling pretty good. Don't need it for now. Let's now feed it in. Let's now feed it in this error. So we're gonna do can't find plugin. So we're gonna stage the changes. We're gonna say could not find the shell plugin. Okay, commit. I think that might. So now if it says we have to do pip install, I can do pip install because I changed the way Ansible was installed. I think so. So that should be more doable for me now. That's the difference between then and now. Okay, hopefully this is not too long for it.
From the provided output, you're encountering a couple of key issues. Missing network underscore CLI plugin. Several devices are failing with the message could not find the shell plugin required, network underscore CLI. The network underscore CLI connection plugin is generally used for networking devices when using Ansible to gather facts or make configuration changes. This error may indicate that Ansible is having trouble accessing the necessary plugins or that there's a configuration issue in how the play is being applied to the hosts. Name resolution issues. Devices in Firewall 01 and in Firewall 02 are failing with could not resolve hostname. This means Ansible cannot find these devices because their hostnames aren't resolvable from the machine running Ansible. Here's how to address these. 1. Addressing missing network underscore CLI plugin. Ensure Ansible configuration is properly set. In your inventory file, seems to be hosts. Any, or in a group underscore vars or host underscore vars file associated with your network devices, you should have some configuration like. This tells Ansible to use the network underscore CLI connection method for all hosts. If you're using Ansible's group underscore vars for specific device groups, ensure that the connection method is specified there. Also, ensure that the relevant networking plugins modules are installed. If they are part of a collection, like Cisco, IOS or Juniper networks, Junos, make sure you have those collections installed. 2. Addressing name resolution issues. You need to ensure that your Ansible controller can resolve the host names in Firewall 01 and in FIREWALL02. Test name resolution using the ping or nslookup dig commands. Bash copy code ping and FIREWALL01 and nslookup in Firewall 01. If these commands fail to resolve the host name, you may need to update your DNS server, etc. host file to include these devices. Alternatively, in your inventory files, you can use IP addresses instead of host names. 3. General troubleshooting. Run your playbook with the VVV flag to get more detailed output. Bash copy code Ansible playbook at your underscore inventory underscore file playbook underscore name. YML VVV. This will give you a more verbose output and might help identify where things are going wrong. Ensure that all required collections and roles are installed and up to date. Ensure SSH connectivity from the Ansible controller to the devices. Test with a simple SSH command. By addressing these issues, you should be closer to resolving the errors. If you encounter further issues, share the updates or more specifics for continued troubleshooting.
Okay, so now we're gonna be can't install can't install iOS plugin, or let's just say like what is it actually? What is the error actually? Key error. Cisco iOS key error. We'll say key error Cisco iOS.
B. Traceback you provided indicates a key error that occurs when Ansible Galaxy is trying to fetch versions of a particular collection. Specifically, the error arises from trying to access a key in a cache dictionary for the URL, API, v3, plugin, Ansible, content, published, collections, index, Cisco, iOS versions. The error seems to imply that Ansible Galaxy didn't find a specific key in its cache when it expected to. Here are a few steps you can try to troubleshoot and potentially resolve the issue. Clear cache. Ansible Galaxy might have a corrupt or outdated cache. You can clear the cache directory at tilde. Ansible Galaxy _ token and read write the command. Specify collection version.
Alright,
if you are not specifying a version for the collection you are trying to install, consider specifying one. This may circumvent the issue if it's related to a specific collection version. Bash copy code Ansible Galaxy collection install Cisco. IS. Version _number _ here update Ansible. The issue might be a known bug that has been fixed in newer versions. Consider updating Ansible to the latest stable version and try again. Manual verification. Manually check if the collection is available on the Ansible Galaxy website. If it's not available, that might be the cause of the error. Alternate collection source. If you know another source repository for the collection, you can specify it during the installation using server flag. Check Ansible configuration. Ensure there are no misconfigurations in your etc. Ansible. CFG file, particularly under the Galaxy section. Check connectivity. Ensure that your machine has proper internet connectivity and can reach the Ansible Galaxy servers. Use verbose mode. Run the Ansible Galaxy command with the VVV flag to get more verbose output. This might provide additional insights. Bash copy code Ansible Galaxy collection install Cisco. ISVVV review custom plugins modules. If you have custom modules or plugins configured, home, GNS3. Ansible plugins modules, USR, share, Ansible plugins modules, temporarily remove or rename them and try again. Sometimes a custom module or plugin can interfere with Ansible's core functionality. Check Python environment. There might be an issue with the Python environment. Consider creating a virtual environment, reinstalling Ansible inside it, and then trying the Ansible Galaxy command again. If none of these steps resolves the issue, it might be a bug or a unique situation, in which case you should consider reaching out to the Ansible community or checking Ansible's GitHub issues to see if others have experienced a similar problem.
Alright, so let's go to the primary source, which is usually the better thing to do anyway. And then close the pane there. So, yeah, you might have already have this collection installed. It's not included, so let's check if it's installed. Ansible-Galaxy collection list. It's right there, cisco.ios. Okay. So it is there already. So okay. So to use it in a playbook, we have to change this. So it's going to be cisco.ios.iosfax, and then that's probably the same for Juniper as well. But let's make sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's a good thing we checked because it's actually going to be Juniper Networks. Okay. Okay, and then EOS fax, let's take a look at that. Perfect. Okay, yeah, everything's good to go. So let's give this a try now. We can not have things shrunk down quite as much. Okay, so hopefully this is the answer to the problem. Hopefully, we will see. Okay, so I need that playbook command here. Don't really need it to be verbose. All right, let's see if this is the answer to the problem. You know what? I'm gonna. Oh no, it's already too late. Cannot find. Okay, well I thought I thought I changed it. It's like not even. That's so interesting. Oh, it can't find network _ CLI. Which I don't have anymore. Yeah, so maybe I have it here. Oh, yeah. So I guess I don't need this anymore. Or CLE. I like how the AI calls it CLE. Kind of want to call it CLE going forward. Use the CLE. All right, I'm entitled to some sedentary time, so probably take that soon. But for now, hopefully this fixes things. Oh man. Oh. Hey, we made some progress. Hey, you know what? That's worth a jog. Bumping it up to 5 miles an hour. Ugh. Okay, maybe that's a bit ambitious. I gotta put that back down. Oof, yeah, that was ambitious. Whew. Okay, so we still got like transfer mechanisms failing, but it looks a lot better now. A lot better. Yep, and there's those. Oh shoot, I thought that was the firewalls that was failing, but now it looks like we still got some issues here. Uh, so I'll say, hey, I made some progress. Good progress, but I'm still having issues. I will paste the error log in.
Of course, please go ahead and paste the error log. I'll do my best to assist you further.
Okay, so yeah, this isn't gonna work. We can already see what's happening here. It looks like it's back to the same thing where it doesn't know that it's on a Cisco device. It thinks it's on a bash prompt. So we can see, it's trying to create a temporary directory, which it cannot do. Like, we can see what it's trying to do. It's trying to do, yeah, it's trying to start the shell on it, but it's like the shell is already started. So it doesn't need to do that. All right, I'm going to take my sedentary time. I kind of need it. And I'll take a more substantial break, and because I have to do this to save the output as well. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's take a look at what we got. So we still got it going forever and ever and ever and ever. I know it's gonna fail, so I'm kind of tempted to just, yeah, because we can see what's happening. It thinks it's on a bash line, which, I mean, it was doing better when I had that on there. Yeah, so yeah, let's do it again, and then We can't do really the VVV. And let's pipe. Let me see here. Okay, but first I have a question. How do I redirect both the standard output and the standard error to another file in Bash?
In Bash, you can redirect both standard output, stdout, and standard error,
Okay.
same there, to a file using the following syntax. Here's a breakdown of what's happening. Command. This is the command you're running. Greater than file. txt. This redirects stdout file. txt. 2 greater than 1. This redirects same there, file descriptor 2, to stdout, file descriptor 1. For example, if you're running a command like ls and you want to redirect both its output and any potential errors to a file named output,
Okay, yeah. I wanna do
txt,
that.
you would use. You can also use the shorthand and greater than, which is the same thing. This is equivalent to greater than file. txt 2 greater than 1.
All right, let's take a look at my sedentary time. Still ticking. Looks good. Okay, so let's watch the file populate. And we can see this is a good sign. There's now no output there. Before it was not doing the right thing. Okay, so now we can feed this through. Yeah, so I think it thinks that it's trying to start the what's going on. Okay. So here's what I think is what's going on, and in just a moment here I will feed you that error log. But what I think is going on is I set up the networking devices to authenticate through public key authentication and to have privilege 15 as soon as the devices log in. So this means that once you log in, you not only land on a command line interface, a CLI, but for Cisco's, you also have privilege exec permissions, privilege exec exec permissions already. So I can see what's happening is that the Ansible connection is trying to start a shell. Like, it thinks that it's on just a Linux bash shell. It doesn't know that it's on a networking device. I really think that's what's going wrong. But you will see once I paste the login file and you can tell, sorry, the error file, and you can tell me whether I am correct or not.
Base. On your description, it does sound like you diagnosed a potential problem. Ansible expects certain prompts and behaviors when connecting to devices, and the way you set up your Cisco device might be throwing it off. Public key authentication is a great way to log in, but depending on how Ansible is expecting the prompt of level of privilege, it might not be behaving as expected. When you provide the error log, I'll be looking for signs of Ansible misinterpreting the prompt, errors related to privilege levels, or other unexpected behaviors when trying to send or receive commands from the device. Please provide the error log so I can take a closer look.
Okay, so I will pause it, and then when I get back, hopefully this will be done. All right, I'm back. It looks like this completed successfully all the way through. So we've got the update I made to the INI file, which we can see through these red arrows. I deleted a line from that. The update I made it to the playbook, which we can see through these blue bars, and we can actually click on that and see the actual difference. And then we can see the log file as well that includes the standard output and the standard error of this command. So we see nothing displayed to the screen down here because it's all redirected into this file. So let's stage all these changes. And then we'll make a commit message, which will be Ansible still thinks it is connecting to bash. which is the error we're having as far as I know. But let's take a look at what ChatGPT has to say about it. Okay, message was too long. Okay, the message is very, very long. Maybe we can get rid of the final output, and then it won't be too long. Still too long. Okay, so maybe we can get rid of the yeah, so we can get rid of just do this part here. That's less than 100 lines. Still too long. That's interesting. I thought that was less than 100 lines. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe we can just do half of it. Let's just do like half of the output, like up till here. Still too long. Okay. Wow, okay. Well, then let's just do a few lines. Let's just do up to here. Oh, you know what? Let's get that meaty output. Yeah, here that like there's some really meaty output that has the actual like commands being run that like really proves that it thinks it's a bash shell. Yeah, so like here it's like actually so this is it. This is the really meaty output. There we go.
Alright. Let's unpack the error logs. Shared connection to device is closed. This message means that Ansible tried to establish a connection but could not maintain it, resulting in it being closed. Line has invalid auto command. This seems to indicate that Ansible is trying to execute some command bin
Right.
C
That is what's happening.
on the Cisco device, which is not recognized or valid.
How do I
This
make
is probably
that
the core of your problem. Ansible is expecting a Unix-like environment to create a temporary directory and execute Python scripts.
I know. That's what I said.
However, the Cisco device does not support these commands as it's not a Unix-based system.
Yeah, I know.
Module failure. This indicates that the Ansible legacy IS_facts module failed, and this is likely because of the aforementioned issue.
I told it not to use that one.
Failed to create temporary directory. The errors with unreachable seem to show that Ansible is trying to create a temporary directory in a way that is not supported by the device it's trying to connect to. It's using commands like mkdir and shell calls bin -c, which may not be valid in the CLI environment of some network devices. Warnings about timeout. This suggests Ansible is not respecting the set timeouts for certain tasks. This might be indicative of connectivity issues or longer than expected command executions. From the logs, your intuition seems right. Ansible is treating these devices as though they are Unix-based systems with a bash shell, but they are not.
Exactly. Thank you.
Recommendations. Ansible configuration and playbooks. Ensure that you are using the correct connection type for your devices in your Ansible playbooks and configurations. For Cisco IOS devices, this would typically be Ansible_connection equals network_clear Ansible_connection equals Ansible.
Okay.
Then we go.
How do
Cisco
I add that?
IOS depending on your setup. Privilege level and command execution. If you're logging into the device at a privilege level where certain commands or modes are restricted, this can cause issues. Consider adjusting the privilege level or ensuring the necessary commands are permitted. Use specific network modules. Make sure to use Ansible modules designed specifically for network devices and not ones designed for regular Unix-based hosts. Version check. Ensure you're using a compatible version of Ansible for your devices and tasks. Some newer or older versions of Ansible might have different behaviors with network devices. Ansible's temporary directory. Consider changing the remote temporary directory in Ansible. CFG to a path rooted in TMP is suggested in the error message. Increase verbosity. Run the Ansible command with VVV to get more detailed logs. This can give you more insight into what Ansible is trying to do during the failed tasks. Use Ansible's network debug and logging. Ansible has debugging and logging mechanisms specifically designed for network modules. By enabling this, you can get more insight into the network operations Ansible is performing. Remember, while Ansible can work with a wide range of devices, they require specific configurations and modules for each type. Tailoring your setup specifically for network devices like Cisco IOS will likely resolve these issues.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying is, okay, great. Can you make the necessary changes to my playbook, please? Here is my current playbook. That incorrectly is causing Ansible to assume that it is connecting to bash shells and not network vendor specific command line interfaces.
Your playbook's core structure seems fine. However, the issue you encountered seems to be related to the way Ansible is interacting with the devices. To address the issue, use Ansible_connection to specify the connection type. Use Ansible_network_OS to specify the network OS of the target device. Below is your modified playbook that should correctly gather facts from the mentioned network devices.
Hopefully. That would be nice. Hopefully it does the whole thing and doesn't. But, sedentary time. I think that's sedentary time. Yeah, I can't ignore that because otherwise...
They added Ansible_connection and Ansible_network_OS variables for each network OS block in the tasks. This ensures Ansible knows what type of connection to establish and understands the specific nuances of each network operating system. Note, if you have 48 devices, you need to determine the appropriate connection type and specify it accordingly, just like with other devices.
Okay, so every second of non-sedentary time matters. So now, there we go. So, okay, there we go. So, isn't this wonderful? Assuming it works. Let's see if it works. So, got the new Ansible file. Let's take a look at some of the changes. So, if we go to the source control, and then we look at the changes, we can see we got gather facts no is added there. Then we see we've got a vars section added. Now we do have this like group vars all.yaml that we created, but it was just being weird. It wasn't pulling from that. We did have CLI, posted there. I wonder if this Ansible connection here needs to be coming, like if this is what needs to, like if I change this to network CLI, I wonder if that will fix things as well. So let me just try that because I think right now I don't even know if it's using that because we've got like so many different places where the user is defined. We've got it in the playbook itself right here. We've got it in the all.yaml file in group vars. And then we also got it in the hosts INI, or at least we used to. We might have changed that. Yeah, so we used to, but we changed that. So it's like it's defined in 3 different places, and it's still not working. So I guess I'll change it here as well, which it's typically best to just make one change at once and see if that helps things. But this is interesting. So it's going to use netconf. All right, so you know what? I am going to kind of do best practices and just make this one change. And then if it still doesn't work, then I'll change this, and we'll see if that works. Okay, so we're going to say devices are not bash shells. Okay, and then let's try it. And it's just going to do the same thing it did before because I didn't sync the changes. Aha! Oh, well, maybe not. The blue text kind of tricked me. It looks like it's skipping each of them. Oh, I see. So it's skipping the ones that aren't. Okay, I see. So that's actually not that bad of a sign because these devices aren't. Oh, but we see it is a problem because although it is skipping the devices that aren't Junipers, it's also skipping the devices that are Junipers. So that is very problematic output. Oh, hey, look at this. So now we're on to the next problem. The directory doesn't exist. So hey, we made some progress. Oh man, that was wonderful. That is good. Hey, and look at this. We got different output here. We've got rescued. Wow, that's amazing. So did it create the? No, because there's no version control updates, so it didn't create the files. But wow, yeah, we got green text. Oh, it's so wonderful. Oh, it's so wonderful. So yeah, now we can see the destination directory isn't set up properly. So let's ask the AI about that because I like how it creates it for each host name. So I don't necessarily want it to pre-exist, so I want to have the code create it. So let's ask the AI if that's possible. First, we'll run it again. So we'll do the and, which passes everything to the error log. Okay, and then we'll take. Oh, so I'm entitled to some sedentary time if I want it. 25 minutes on the clock. I'm feeling really good. I don't need sedentary time right now, especially since we're right on the cusp of getting this to work. Okay, so this file is probably going to be too long, but all we need is this. I mean, it depends on the length of the line too. We saw that we just pasted in, under 100 total lines, but each line had all kinds of characters on the line, so that made it so it wouldn't paste in. So we could try this whole thing since the lengths of the lines are pretty minimal. So if we go to source control and we go to stage, we can do success except folder structure. Structure is not dynamic. So we have to change that folder structure to be dynamic. And then, wow, okay. Wow. Like, I could never have done this without ChatGPT. Like, never. Even reading the official docs, it's just like, it's too wonky. All right, so let's try the whole file. It's probably too long, but we'll try it anyway. Oh, it's not too long. Perfect. Because the width of the line matters a lot.
The log output you provided gives insights into two main points. Python version warning. The beginning of the log is providing a deprecation warning, indicating that Ansible will require Python 3. 8 or newer on the controller starting with Ansible 2.
Oh, I have
12.
Python 6.
The current Python version you have installed is 3. 6. 9. Therefore, to avoid future issues, you should upgrade your Python version to at least 3.
Yeah.
8 before moving to Ansible 2. 12. Task failures. During the save facts to file for data DS01 task, Ansible encountered errors when trying to save device facts to certain directories. It seems that the specified directories don't exist, resulting in a destination directory does not exist error message for each device. You may need to ensure these directories are created before running this task or adjust the path if it's incorrect.
Right.
Here's a step-by-step resolution guide. Upgrade Python. If you are using a virtual environment, activate it and update Python within that environment. Otherwise, you can update Python globally on your system. This process varies based on your operating system, but typically you download and install a newer version of Python from the Python website or use a package manager, like app for Ubuntu. Address directory issues. Before running the Ansible playbook, ensure that the required directories exist. You can manually create them or add a task in your playbook to create them if they don't exist. Example using the Ansible file module to ensure a directory exists. YAML copy code name. Ensure directory exists file. Path. Documentation, inventory underscore hostname, recon underscore playbooks, inventory underscore hostname, underscore fact state. Directory if you believe the directories should already exist and the paths are correct, double check file, folder permissions to ensure Ansible can access and write to them. Error handling. It's good that there's a task, handle errors here, to handle errors and notify about them. Consider enhancing this with additional remediation or notification methods if needed, like sending an alert to a monitoring system, sending an email, etc. Idempotence and checks. Ansible playbooks are typically designed to be idempotent, meaning they can be run multiple times and produce the same.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. So the next thing we need to do is upgrade Python to the latest version. So let's check what version we got now. And of course, we have to be aware of which device we're on. So if we do Python -- version on the appropriate device. Oh, yeah. So it's only 2.7. So yeah, let's. Oh, sorry, Python 3 - version, because we've got 2 versions of Python on here. Okay, so yeah, 3.6, that's too far out of date, so let's bump that up to the newest one. This is exciting. I'm genuinely surprised that this is working like as janky and wonky as it has been so far. Like, I'm genuinely surprised that it's working this well, because, you know, as I said, I've been wanting to do this for years. Like, at least I've been wanting to do something like this, like what I'm doing now successfully and getting to work, for over 5 years, I would say. And like, I'm doing it because I have ChatGPT. Like, without ChatGPT, you know, my skill set increased by orders and orders and orders of magnitude, at least 1 order of magnitude, if not multiple orders of magnitude, because I have ChatGPT. Like, it's absolute revolution, mind-blowing. I'm working with an employee right now that is more skilled than I am. Like, it's absolutely. Now, you know, if I didn't have the skills I do have, prompting it, asking the right questions, interpreting the output, wouldn't go so well. But as it is, I'm able to do things that I could never do before. All right, so now we're adding the repository. Oh. Wait, I just want to install the latest version. I don't want to specify a specific version. How do I do that?
If you want to install the latest version of Python available in the Dead Snakes PPA without specifying a version, follow these steps. Add the Dead Snakes PPA if you haven't done it yet. Install the latest Python version. To install the latest version without specifying the version number, you can use a combination of app cache to search for available versions and sort to select the highest version.
Yeah.
Then you can use xargs to install it. This command finds the latest Python development package, which should correspond to the latest Python version in the repo, then installs it. Verify the Python version. After installation, you can check the Python version. Install pip for the new Python version. If you also want pip for this new version, you can first determine the version number using the above command and then follow the pip installation steps I provided in the previous answer, but adjust the version number accordingly. For example, if Python 3 version says you have Python 3.10. Remember, this installs the latest version available in the Dead Snakes PPA. Sometimes there might be a delay between a Python release and its availability in this PPA.
That's fine.
If you always want the very latest as soon as it's released, you'd have to compile from source or look for another method.
Okay, so we are doing this software properties common, and then we're doing. So we're following. I think we're doing the add repo. Let's take a look at what I just did. Yeah, so I did the add repository. So we can skip these steps here, and then follow these here. So now we do a sudo apt update. Okay, and then we do this kind of interesting that we learned about in the LPIC series. So what we're doing is we're sorting the output, and then we're taking a look at the, I think, like the first row. So that should be like the highest number. And then we're printing out the number, and then we're doing a sudo apt install of that. So unfortunately, I've got to type this all out, but that's okay. I'm a decent typist. And let me take a moment to. That's actually a good point. You know, I'm a decent typist, and I actually worked for a few years as a professional captionist, which wasn't all typing. It was using other technologies as well. Without speaking specifically to the technologies it was using, I will say that I am very comfortable using things like audio input to my computer. So, like, that's important if you're working with computers. So, if you're watching this and you can't type over 35 minutes, it takes you a long time to just input things into the computer. Try playing around with like using voice to text, and really ultimately, maybe try getting typing skills up. It's not that hard to get it up to 35 words per minute, which is the baseline for like working certain transcribing jobs. All right, so let's see the latest. So, I'm not sure what's going on. It's not able to. So let's do this. Let's hit enter, and let's run the command again without passing it to xargs. Okay, so Python 3 all dev. So now we can do sudo apt install Python 3 all/dev. Okay, now we see it's removing 3.6 from my system. Good. That system's too old. And now it's setting up 3.6. What the heck? So that all right, so let me say so I went through all these steps. So I went through all these steps. Using apt, and it turned out that the latest version was 3.6, even though I know that Python 3 is at least at 3.10. My Ubuntu OS is out of date, but I don't want to update it. How can I install the latest Python 3 version with an out of date Ubuntu OS?
If you have an older Ubuntu distribution and you're finding the provided Python versions via apt are not up to date, you have several methods to install the latest Python version, compiled from source. This method is more manual but allows you to get the very latest version of Python directly from the source. A. First, install required dependencies. Bash copy code as sudo apt update sudo apt install build essential zlib 1 gram dev lib and curses 5 dev lib gdbm dev libnis 3 dev libsil dev libredline dev libp dev wgb. Download the latest Python source code from the official website. Bash copy code at https://www.
All right, I guess I'll try
Python.
that.
Fork FTP Python 3 10 0 Python 3 10 0.
Why not?
tgzc extract configure and install bash copy code direct via
All
Python
right,
3
let's get crazy.
10 0 tgzcd Python 3 10 0. Configure enable optimizations make sudo make alt install. Note that we use make alt install to avoid replacing the system's default Python 3 binary. This will install Python 3 10 is Python 3 10 b. Check the installed version. Bash copy code Python 3 10th version. Use PyND. PyND is a popular tool to manage multiple versions of Python. It allows you to install any Python version easily. A. First, install required dependencies. Bash copy code as sudo apt update sudo apt install y build essential libsil dev zlib 1 gram dev libs 2 dev libredline dev libfile 3 dev w git curl llvm lib and curses 5 dev lib and curses w5 dev xc utils tk dev libp dev libelsma dev python 3 open sslgb. Install pyend. Bash copy code curl https://pyend. Run bash c. Add pyend to shell. Bash copy code echo export path equals $home. pyend bin $path greater than tilde. Basher gecko val $pyend init path greater than tilde. Basher gecko val $pyend virtual nd init greater than tilde. Basher source tilde. Basher d. Install the desired Python version with pyend. Bash copy code bnd install 3 10 0 pyend global 3 10 0 e. Verify installation. Bash copy code Python version. Both methods will get you the latest Python version. The first method is more direct and installs Python system-wide, while the second method is more flexible, allowing you to manage multiple versions, but it's locally installed for your user. Choose the method that best fits your needs.
All right, I'm gonna do it system-wide. I might need my sedentary time. Yeah, we'll use Python 10. Well, let's see what versions there are up on this site. Oh, we actually have 3.11. Let's look at it by date. So it's 2023. Okay, so and then it's October. So we've got some. Wow. Okay, we've got quite a bit. Let's just get let's get 3.10. Let's look at so what is the latest version of Python 3? Uh 3.12. Wow, okay. That's way newer than I thought. Yeah, I mean, why not? Let's do it. There's even 3.13. That's ridiculous. Let's get 3.12 because that's okay. So then it wants .tgz. Man, there's so many. Okay, this is by order of date. So the latest one, .tgz. So let's do a search for .tgz. All right, so this one looks good. So I'll put this in a notepad. All right, and then feed that in here. Okay. There we go. So that looks good. All right, so that's going to be the next command. Unless there's one before that. I think there might be one before that. Oh, yeah, there's... Yeah, we did this one already. Okay, so no, this is the next command. So let's enter it in. Okay, so there we go. And then we'll have a command after that. Okay, so these are the next commands after that. To extract, configure, and install. And I feel like I should do these in a special folder. When I'm doing the download latest Python source code and extract, configure, and install steps when I compile it from source, what does my present working directory need to be?
When you recompiling Python from source, your present working directory should be the directory where you extracted the Python source code.
Okay, fine, but... Oh, my home directory? Is that fine? Okay, fine. Yeah, I know it has to be where I extracted the source code, but like, where does it make sense to extract the source
Zero now,
code?
your present working directory is tilde.
Does it make sense to extract it inside my home drive or inside a drive like /sbin or /bin, bin?
The location where you extract and compile the source code isn't as crucial as you might think.
Okay, good.
Once you've compiled and installed the software, the important binaries, libraries, and other components will be placed in system-wide locations, like USR, global, bin for binaries, depending on the options you use during the configure step. Here are some general guidelines. Home directory, tilde. This is often the most straightforward place for many users. Extracting and building in your home directory ensures you have...
That's fine. Okay, so yep, the next step is to... Now we've got the file, we're going to do a tar xvf. Okay, and then let's change the directory into it. Okay, and then /configure, enable optimizations. Okay. I wonder what version I have on my actual machine. My physical machine. Okay, I do have 3.10 on my actual physical machine. But this virtual machine here with the older operating system has 3.6. So that's what we're fixing right now. All right, so I'm gonna take my sedentary time. So, yep, just pause the treadmill, and start the sedentary timer. All right, move the treadmill out of the way and sit in my sedentary death chair. That will worsen my health. Okay. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm going to fill up some water. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. It looks like we do have a small issue here, or big. I actually don't know. It says that pkg-config is missing, so some dependencies may not be detected correctly. So let's feed that into the AI, or let's just try it. Let's do make first, and then we'll say, yeah, we'll just try it, and then sudo make alt install. Hopefully things will be good. Maybe I can feed in the error while this is going. It's kind of too far gone for me. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so let's feed that in. So pkg config is missing. Some dependencies may not be detected correctly.
The pkg config tool helps configure scripts to determine how to use third-party libraries in your system. When compiling software from source, pkg config provides information to the build system about dependencies and how to link against them. If you're seeing a warning that package config is missing, it suggests that the software you're trying to build may have optional features that depend on libraries, and without package config, the build system might not detect or link against them correctly. To address this, install package config. On Ubuntu, you can install it using apt bash copy go to sudo apt sudo apt install package config. Ensure all required development libraries are installed. The software you're trying to build might provide a list of dependencies. For most libraries, there are two packages: the runtime package, which is required to run software that uses the library, and the development package, which is required to compile software that uses the library. The development packages usually have dev appended to their name. For instance, if your software depends on the libsl library, you would need to install libsl-dev to have the necessary files to compile against it. Bash copy go to sudo apt install libsl-dev rerun the configure script. After ensuring package config and the necessary development libraries are installed, rerun the configure script for your software. This should ensure that all dependencies are correctly detected. If you're uncertain about which development libraries you might need, consult the documentation or review of the software you're trying to compile.
All right.
Often, they'll provide a list of required enough.
So I think I am gonna do that. I guess I'll just try and make again. I see. This is where things usually go wrong. It's like I failed to do it right, and now it's not doing it right. Because I think it was probably in here. So maybe I had a typo or something. No, I don't see it there. But yeah, let's take care of that error once this is done. This make is done. So what we'll do is we'll do these steps here, and then we'll go back and do the steps earlier. So it's going to take quite a bit. So I guess I'll pause it and come back. Yep. All right, welcome back. Let's do a check-in and see how things are going. So, oh wow, okay, so it's still going. And in fact, it's not even halfway through whatever current thing it's doing. So I guess I'll check back in later. All right, I'm back. So I've got the last command running now. So I did the make command took forever. The configure command, it said that there was a library missing. I decided not to rerun this configure because I don't know if I have time for the make. So I'm just running the last one. Hopefully there's no issues. If there are, it's my fault because I didn't follow the output correctly. I just relied on what was here. And we talked about, critical thinking, like this is a primary source here, the output here, this is not. So I really need to trust what's coming out of here more. But hopefully it was just kind of a minor thing that doesn't really matter. One thing we can see as well is I put this in the wrong location. I put it in the repo, so it's actually running version control on all of these files. And there's going to be like thousands of these files. So really not a good place to put it. Right now we can see there's over 5,000 files. It really belonged in a different directory. Even just the home directory would have been better. So once this is finished, I can do a Python 3.10 - version, and we should have a Python 10 going, and we should have that error go away. So this is another way to do it. yeah, but we compiled it from source, which is fine. So yeah, once we're done with this, then we can run the playbook again. So I'm gonna pause it again and come back when this is finished. All right, so I'm back. So this command finished running. Let's take a look at the output. Successfully installed. So running pip as root is not advised, but let's do the next command, which is to check that the version actually has been upgraded. So we're going to do Python and then 3.10 and then dash dash version. Okay, so we don't have Python 3.10. And we still have Python 3.6 despite everything we just did. Man, that's too bad. And we can even see here in the folder itself, if we do an ls, and then we move to the Python folder, and then do a ls. I don't know about that, but we can see very clearly that Python 12 didn't get installed. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's really loud. Okay. Oh, that's the protein timer. So that I can wait on. If I just wait a few minutes on that, it doesn't really matter. So first thing I'm gonna do is get rid of all of these files. That was just a bad. That was just bad. It's okay. It's just a small warning. It looks like it can't remove some of these because the permission is denied. So we'll do a sudo. Okay, so yeah, that was all for nothing, but it's okay because it was just a warning message. It wasn't critical for having the playbooks actually run. Okay, so now let's run the playbook again. We did a lot of work here trying to get Python up to the latest version, but it was all for nothing, but it's probably worth a try. So we can just ignore this now. It's okay. But we are successfully going on the devices. So the next thing we need to do is go back to the conversation we had with the AI about the playbook, and then update the playbook so that these destination directories are automatically created by Ansible. So what we do is we go to campus facts, and then before running the Ansible playbook, ensure that the required directories exist. You can manually create them or add a task. So let's add a task. So under tasks, we've got block, we've got rescue, we've got always. So let's add another task. And the task will be oh, I actually I think we have to add the task within the block, and then we're gonna have to add it first before it actually tries to use those directories. So that's gonna be the first task in the block. We're gonna be ensuring that the directory exists. Okay, now I've got these frowny faces. I'm not sure why I have frowny faces there. I've never seen that before. I'm just trying to indent this block. That's all I'm trying to do. It shouldn't be this hard. Okay, there we go. So this traditionally I've got spaces after these, so let's preserve that. There we go. Now we've got the tasks, the block, and we've got the different names of the block of tasks. And then there we go. That's the playbook. So let's see if we've got any uncommitted changes. No, we don't. So yep, let's now do this, and we're gonna say create the output folders is what we're gonna say. Create the output folders. Okay, and then pull that down, and now everything should be hunky-dory. It should be very happy and wonderful, and yeah, wow, it's all come to this point, and this is kind of a wonderful place to be. We climbed the mountain, and we're in the valley with all the vegetation and the beautiful grass and the flowers and bushes and all that. So like, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so then what we'll see is the folder structure being built out, assuming that it works, and it'll just be here. So we're gathering the device facts. So the first thing we're doing is ensuring that the directory exists. Okay, and we can see this, apparently this, adding this here somehow bricked it, because it looks like what it ends up doing is it's somehow reaching out to the devices when it's doing that, and it's not so it apparently is trying to do this on the wrong device. It's trying to do this on the device it's reaching out to, and not just within its own there. So this here is wrong. So let's go ahead and have the AI build it for us so that we get it right. So please add this. Please add this to my playbook in the correct way. Here is the playbook that includes how I tried to add it, which appears to be incorrect. Explain to me. Explain my mistake and produce the corrected file. And correct it, please.
Your playbook seems well structured. You've encapsulated the tasks within a block and have provided rescue and always blocks for error handling and post-execution tasks. The part you wanted to add, creating a directory,
Oh, really?
as well.
It's not doing
The file
that
module is being used correctly to ensure that a directory exists. However, I do notice one potential problem. When you use relative paths, like documentation, the path is relative to the location from which the Ansible playbook command is run.
Right, but that's
this can be problematic
fine.
if you execute the playbook from different directories.
We're not
A solution
doing
to this would be to use absolute paths or to use paths relative to some Ansible variables like playbook_dir. Assuming you want it relative to the playbook directory, you can modify it like this. By doing this, no matter from where you run your playbook, it will always use the directory where your playbook resides as a base directory for creating the further paths. To summarize, 1. Your playbook seems well structured. You've encapsulated the tasks within a block and have provided rescue and always blocks for error handling and post-execution tasks. The part you wanted to add, creating a directory, looks good as well. The file module is being used correctly to ensure that a directory exists.
Is it though?
However, I do notice one potential problem. When you use relative paths, like documentation, the path is relative to the location from which the Ansible playbook command is run. This can be problematic if you execute the playbook from different directories. A solution to this would be to use absolute paths or to use paths relative to some Ansible variables like playbook_dir. Assuming you want it relative to the playbook directory, you can modify it like this. By doing this, no matter from where you run your playbook, it will always use the directory where your playbook resides as the base directory for creating the further paths. To summarize, the directory creation part seems correctly added.
But the thing is, it's saying it seems correctly added, but if I do a Control-C on this, and then I clear this out, and then I remove it, now, presumably, and I can add a, yeah, so now it's going to work, presumably, which makes no sense. Yeah, see, now it works. So obviously that's incorrect. Okay, so I'm going to undo my changes, and I'll do it where it's easier. It's easier on my home drive. Or, sorry, my home PC. So, undo all changes. All right, and then let's make that change in the playbook. So this task is obviously not correct. Okay, so yeah, let's add it. Let's add it under here. So we're gonna do tasks to run always, irrespective of task execution result. We're going to do the file task under there. Okay, so let's try that. So fixing auto dir creation. Okay, so now there's an issue here. So let's pipe that to the error log. And then playback, we'll call it playbook syntax error. Commit and sync. All right, and then feed that to the AI. All right, and I can't ignore my protein timer anymore, so let's get this answer later. So I'll pause it and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. It's time to start my sedentary timer. Got my protein timer ticking again. So, okay, so now we've got to the suggested modification. under the always section. So let's add that in there. All right, I think that looks good to me. I guess I'm not sure where it needs to be nested, so I'm gonna copy this whole thing and then undo the changes to see where it needs to be nested. So it does need to be nested there, so now we can just redo the changes with Control Y and push them up. So always block, and let's so we can see that the name starts under the tag. So let's clean this up so that it's consistent. So always block corrected syntax. Okay, and then we'll stage all the changes and commit and sync. Perfect, and then pull down the changes. Oops, and hopefully I can prevent that. So it looks like it's going to sleep, so hopefully I can wake it up. It's frustrating because I came so close to getting it to work, and now it's just bugging out on me. So I guess I'll try closing it and then reopening it. Yeah, so close, but so far away. We can see it's just randomly bugging out on me. Okay, well, let's restart it then. And this is the power of source control too. You know, I don't have to worry about losing all my files because it's all in that centralized repository, and it's all in addition to that, it's on my local computer as well. So I can just willy-nilly yank the cord on this PC, and it doesn't matter. I could have the whole power go out in my apartment right now. Everything I'm doing is online in the cloud. It doesn't matter. Oh, it's hard to go from a complete sedentary lifestyle for 3 years to the point that you gain well over 50 pounds, more like 60 or even 70, to the point where, like, if you literally lose 100 pounds, you'll still be in the normal BMI range. It's hard to go from that kind of lifestyle to one where you're actually like doing the bare minimum not to be sedentary. It's like that's a huge shock to the body. I'm like got a lot of sore muscles, especially my ankles. And then I do like some other workout stuff as well. Like I just like the inertia of like, oh, I'm sitting all day, I guess I should get up and exercise. It's like, you know how you have to like warm up your body to go and exercise? Well, the amount of time it takes to warm up if you're just sitting around all day sedentary is much higher than if you're like on a desk treadmill every 5 minutes or 25 minutes. So like, you know, for me to warm up to some more significant exercise like calisthenics or something like that, I'm already warmed up because, you know, I don't have that sedentary lifestyle anymore because I'm doing the bare minimum to avoid it. So I can do like real workouts without having to spend so much time on warm up. And the thing is, like, when you're totally sedentary, you know, warm up, even just starting that warm up, getting out of that sedentary position and starting the warm up is just, there's so much inertia built up. It's like, you know, it's just hard to state break. Okay, but we've got this back up. Now we got the changes there ready to sync. See, isn't this awesome? I can just yank the cord out of the wall of this. I can have the power go out, and all my files, all my work are safe. I don't have to worry about losing anything because I'm using version control. See that power, the power there? Really important. All right, so I did lose my bash history, but that's okay. We're just following along with the book. So it's Ansible playbook dash I, playbook dash I hosts dot I, and then I forget. Playbooks, campus, tactical, campus, facts dot YAML. So here we go. Here's the big moment of truth. Okay, so I've got it set to always create the file. I don't know why it skips. That's kind of interesting. So here we go. So we can see this is kind of out of order here. Yeah, so the destination doesn't exist. That's because we're saving facts to the file before we create it. So maybe we'll see that later, but I'm going to Control C on it because we do need to get that file created beforehand. So I think one of the things we could do is see, the thing is, like, it reaches out and it does it. Oh, you know what? Here we go. This is how it's done. So we have to do delegate to localhost. Yeah. So okay. So that's I think the way to do it. So we're gonna do like this, and then delegate to localhost. There we go. All right, that looks good to me. And then put this a task up here belonging to this block. There we go. And now it knows to do it on the localhost and not on these other devices. Yep. So what it's going to do in the block is it's going to make those directories for the yeah. There we go. Then what it's going to do after that, and it'll do this depending on we can see it's got a win in there, so it's like an if statement in Python. And then the last thing it will do is copy the device output there. So this is correct. So let's do that. We'll say have to delegate folder creation to localhost. Sync changes. All right, so I think hopefully this will take care of that issue. Hey, look at that. So that's good. And that's yellow, which means that something's been modified. So if we open this up, we should see interesting. Okay, so I don't see the... Oh, here it is. So it's being created out under... Yeah, see that? See that? That's beautiful. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So now we've got our Beautiful. And what we got in here? Show run, anything of value, or is that the next step? Yeah, so now we've just got a skip reason. So we do need to actually give that something of value. Yeah, so conditional. Oh, you know what? That's fine because we do want it that way. So yeah, okay. Big news, big moment of truth. Looks good. The great thing about version control too, I can't say enough good things about version control. We can undo all these changes in a really easy way, and then now we can make it more. We can make it better where we actually want it to go. So we want it to go. Not there. We want it to go in our documentation file up here. And then we want it to go here. So it's going to be from our current playbook directory. Actually, what we can do is we can give it an absolute path. So let's just make a new line and then just think about what the path is. So it's going to be like that. And then documents, rams, mated, mated network. All right, and then it's going to be documentation. Campus. Right, and then, yeah, the playbooks, yeah. Campus slash recon. Oh, let's just do it under campus. So, yep, and then we need like that. Inventory hostname. Yep, and then recall. Yep, and then so under here it'll be so we can have different kinds of results in their own folder. So recon playbooks. Okay. Inventory hostname score facts. All right, looks good to me. Okay, so now we can do a find replace on this, hopefully. Oh, you know what? I think it's only in this one spot. Let's do a find though. So Control F. Yeah, it's just in that one area. So now we can do a replace. Replace all. It's just that one area. Okay. And that should be better. We do have this special folder here under playbooks. So this is not a playbook. This is going to be a yeah, so these are our playbooks here. We also have this retry playbook. I'm going to get rid of that. All right, and then where we want it to populate is in the campus facts. So let's try it. And then hopefully we'll see it build up out to this campus facts here. Okay, so we've got some problems here. Okay, so it might be an issue. Yeah, so see how we got the double quotes here? I think, yeah, that's the problem. And then we also have double quotes at the end. It has to be single quotes. Or, well, we have 2 instances of double quotes. You can only have 1 instance of double quotes. I'm not sure if you can use single quotes or not, but this will fix the issue. Okay, so we should see this folder structure build out now. So we're ensuring that the directory exists. There we go. So it's under documentation campus. Oh, where did it go? Oh, it went under playbooks again. That's interesting. Oh, no, it didn't. Where did it go? Huh. Oh, I misspelled documentation. It gets tricky. Yeah. So we gotta fix that spelling. DOCUMENTATION. So I can stop this from running. That's fine. And then undo all my changes except for yeah, we can discard. Well, let me see what the changes are. Oh, so we can't really undo that change. Actually, you know what, we can. So let's do this. Let's remove all the changes. Okay. So, and then let's go back to the playbook file. Okay, and then paste that change back in there. And then correct the misspelling. All right, well, let's take a look at the difference. There we go. So that looks better. DOCUMENTATION. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so there we go. And then let's clean up the. So yeah, we don't need this retry as far as I know, so we can delete that. And then, yeah, everything looks great. So let's do it. Oh man. Come on. Oh, so we see an arrow there. Yay! Look at that. Documentation of our campus. That is good stuff. I don't know what this recon playbooks is. But we should have a recon playbook. Yeah, these all belong to recon playbook there. So I think I can get rid of this here. I'm not sure what this is. Or what we could do is just have it be change the file here so that recon playbooks is yeah, so we can do campus recon or not recon playbooks, but we can do we can call it recon output. Yeah, and then the inventory hostname, and then yeah. So we can do it that way. I think that makes more sense. So we have campus, recon output, and then we can have like different kinds of output depending on what we're doing. Or you know what? Let's call this. Yeah, you know what? We can change this as we go, but for now, I think this looks good. So let's delete all of this. Yeah, I kind of want it in its own folder so that it's a bit easier to delete. But we can delete this whole campus folder. All right, and then we can grab the change we have here. Yeah, that looks good. So now let's run it again. And oh, we can delete this misspelled one as well. Okay, so here's the one that's spelled correctly. Yep. So under campus, there we go. Recon output. Now we have it for each one, and then we just have the data, and we can have it whatever we want. So let's open up. Yeah. Yeah, so that looks good. Pretty happy with that. Oops, now it's saying that there's directories that don't exist. I think that's because what I saved it to down here. Yeah, because I don't have it synced up between where I'm writing it and where I'm creating the files. So these here have to be synced up, so I have to change this down here to match what I have up there. So I'll do that. I can stop running the playbook. So let's grab it up here. Okay, and then let's make the change down here. Oops, so it should say dest instead of path. There we go. And now let's get rid of this campus folder. Take a look at the changes we have so far. So yep, we have, looks pretty good to me. Okay, and run the playbook again. Okay, so now we're ensuring that the directories exist. So we should see one created up there. Yeah, there we go. We got the campus directory. So now we need to build out directories for each of our devices, which we are doing. And then we'll be going into the devices and doing the gathering of the facts for the devices. And then we'll be saving it to those locations. And I might need my sedentary time. I've more than earned my sedentary time, so I might as well use it if I need it. Oh, so it looks like we got the same. Oh, I see. So this dest is not correct. So let's see what it was before I changed it. So it was dest, but oh, okay. So we have to give it an actual file name as well. Okay, so it looks like I'm just gonna have to type it out. That's okay. Yeah, so that looks better. Okay, so now we can close that. And yeah, we have to feed it an actual file name. Looks good to me. So this should be good now. And we can delete this again just because it's kind of fun to see it create it. It's fun to see it working well. So delete that just for the fun of it. and see it build it out, and now we'll see it actually work. Okay, so it's building it out. That's as expected. Okay, and then now it's actually going into the devices, and this skipping, I'm not sure what's going on there. It shouldn't be skipping. For example, this is the. Oh, I see. So we're doing it for each individual device. So we're skipping it for. But see, it's weird because we have it listed there, the device that it's meant to be doing it for. So. Oh, but at the same time, that's a Cisco. So we probably won't see it skipped. Okay, so now it is actually saving out, and we can see that because it's turning green here. So we can see the files that are actually being. There we go. So, boom, we did it. This is the ultimate result of. This matches what we see here. When we do it with dash check, we're going to see OK equals 2, and we're going to see change equals 1, and then unreachable for the firewalls we will see on my network. So let's take a look at the firewalls. Okay, so here's the two firewalls. They're in the internet section of the network. Oh, that's interesting. So they actually did show up as changed equals 2. We do have skipped showing up. But, yeah, so isn't this wonderful? So let's move on to the next step in the book. So the next step will be to remove that dash check, and we're going to execute the play now that it is known that it will execute without errors. Before we do that, let's make sure to save the changes. Otherwise, we'll lose them if there's a problem. So, success. Commit. Oh, we have to change. So, let's stage them. Success. And sync. There we go. And we'll make sure this is synced up. Okay. And then now we can do the next step in the book, which is to do it without the check. Oh. Which I already did. So let's do it with the check and see what happens. Okay, so those directories already exist. That's the first thing it does. So that's green. That means that it's okay. That doesn't mean that anything's been modified. If it's modified, it's yellow. If there's an error, then it's in red. And if it skips it, it's in blue. Let's take a closer look at some of these skips. Hopefully it'll allow me to do that. So data DS1 is a it's a Juniper device. So we see it's still skipping it, unless it's a Arista, but we can see it's skipped for all three of those, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so there we go. This is with check mode. So yeah, it's see how it's working like that? That's so wonderful. So yeah, we can hopefully close out chapter 6 and move on to chapter 7 now. So since executing the play, it is expected that output files per device using iOS to fax, and we had to make that all messed up, in the JSON format will be created. So yes, it was. Using get, push the output back into the repo, did that. Using the vi editor, press escape, and add a message to the commit. Use meaningful text such as JSON output from iOS fax playbook in every commit submitted. Did that. These messages are part of the commit and will be visible and very useful in Git, VS Code, and TFS. Did that. Use WQ to save the commits. This is just part about version control, which we have already taken care of through VS Code. So here's the output collected. Now, we did notice that we do still have an issue where it's skipping and it's not collecting the output. So we do want our files to look more like this, where we have specific information about our network and we're not just skipping it and ending up with files that look like this. So for the WAN dist, we have a file here that says conditional result was false. We want this to actually contain real information about the device. So this is just a sample of the output. Rich and human readable data-driven JSON files per device and regardless of scale have now been added to the repository. The first playbook has captured incredibly useful, actionable, malleable, and dynamic information about facts on all devices on the campus network. For us, it just skipped them, so we need to figure out what's going on with that. The following has been captured automatically from each device with a single command: device model number, device serial number, iOS version, host name, all IP addresses on the device, all interface information for physical interfaces, all loopback interfaces, all VLAN interfaces, SVIs, all port channels with an S information, physical or virtual interface speed, administrative status, MAC address, IP status, MTU, and description. Save, commit, comment, and push the change to the remote branch, change to the Linux installation, and git clone the repository or git push the refresh and refresh the repository in Linux. Check out the working branch through git checkout iOS facts. Change to the /playbook /campus /tactical folder and run the following command to execute the playbook. The playbook should execute and provide a dynamic status report showing its progress, and when it is complete, the .json output files should be building dynamically as the play runs across the campus. When the file is completed, be sure to check in the output of the playbook. So yeah, we did that, add a meaningful commit message. So this is where we are. We just need to make sure that it's not skipping anymore. So provide the Microsoft TFS credentials using. Oh, actually no, that we're not here yet. So I think this is actually pushing it up to TFS after you have taken it from the devices, which we've already done. So yeah, commit a and then git push. So we're already doing that with the built-in version control here, and it looks like there's a change. Let's undo that change. I'm not sure what that's all about. Oops. So that's I think gonna register as a change as well. Oh, you know what? That's it. I don't know how that file ended up there, but it doesn't belong there. So now we have no changes, so that's good. So provide the credentials using VS Code, browse to the folder. Using TFS, browse to the branch and see the output, so they should match. When satisfied with the output and everything is working, submit a pull request. That's to merge your branch into main. Perform the change management process and merge the first Ansible playbook and output into TFS. Move the work item to completed. To wrap things up with the iOS facts module, here are the unique return values for this module. So I'm not going to read all of this, but we definitely need to get some or all of those and not just that skipping status. So I think I am going to visit Ansible documentation page for more details. So when I come back to this book, I'd like to get all the way through to chapter 7, but it looks like there is quite a bit more. I'm not sure what this is about because kind of got through everything already. Yeah, I'll save the book to be here. And then I'm going to spend a little bit of time. I mean, we made huge progress here. We climbed a mountain. So just getting to the skipped part is a huge success. But we do need to fix that. So it looks like the inventory host names are correct here. But we can see it is skipping it, and maybe it's because EOS isn't in a group name. Maybe it's somewhere else besides the group name. I mean, we can see it in the group name, but it looks like there might be an issue with that not matching appropriately. And I'm going to take my sedentary time. I definitely earned it, and I need it. All right. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is yeah, so it's notify completion, completed facts. All right, it's here. So yeah, so let's run it again and let's update that error file. We don't need to do the check. Let's do it with a check because it might be some smaller output. And then let's do it in the error file, and then let's ask the AI why it's skipping everything. Okay, so I made monumental progress. I can actually reach out to the devices and create the folder structure and save output and do like 90% of what I wanted to do. But the problem that I'm facing now is that instead of actually doing reconnaissance on the devices and gathering back things like the IP address and the show run and stuff, it's just skipping doing that stuff on the device. So next I will paste in the output so you will see this behavior. So please look at that output and analyze it, and then let me know when you're ready, and I will, after that, paste in my playbook.
Of course. Please go ahead and share the output with me, and I'll analyze it. Once done, we can proceed with reviewing the playbook to pinpoint any issues.
Okay.
Based on the provided output, it seems that your tasks to gather device facts for different platforms, iOS, Junos, EOS, are being skipped for all devices.
Right.
Specifically, this indicates that there is likely a conditional check associated with these tasks, and the condition is now being met, causing Ansible to
Right,
skip these tasks.
exactly, yeah.
To better understand and resolve the issue, I would need to review your Ansible playbook.
All right, let's
Please
do
share
it.
the portion of your playbook that contains these tasks so I can help diagnose the problem further. The Ansible playbook provided is the following. Play name and configuration. Name. Gather device facts hosts. All. This means that this play will run against all the hosts you find in the inventory.
Right.
Remote_user. GPOSH, the username that will be used to connect to the remote hosts. Gather_facts. No, this disables the default fact gathering provided by Ansible. The playbook will gather device-specific facts instead.
Do I need
Test.
to do that?
A. Ensure directory exists. This task ensures that a specific directory structure exists on the local host. It uses the file module and delegates the task to the local host.
Why is it skipping?
B. IOS device facts for inventory_hostname. This task uses the Cisco IOS_facts module to gather facts from Cisco IOS devices. It will only run on hosts that belong to the IOS group based on one condition.
Oh, yeah. Is that what's
C.
going on?
Junos device facts for inventory_hostname. This task uses the Juniper networks. Junos Junos underscore facts module to gather facts from Juniper Junos devices. It will only run on hosts that belong to the Junos group. D. EOS device facts for inventory underscore hostname. This task uses the Arista EOS underscore facts module to gather facts from Arista EOS devices. It will only run on hosts that belong to the EOS group. E. FortiGate device facts for inventory underscore hostname commented out. This is a placeholder for gathering facts from FortiGate devices. It has been commented out since the actual module and its parameters need to be filled in. F. Save facts file for inventory underscore hostname. This task saves the facts that were gathered into a JSON file on the local host. The facts are stored in a nicely formatted JSON using the do underscore nice underscore JSON filter. Error handling. The rescue section contains tasks that will be executed if any of the tasks in the block fail. Currently, it has a single task to print a debug message. The always section contains tasks that will be executed regardless of whether the tasks in the block succeed or fail. It contains a task to notify the completion of the facts gathering. Overall, the playbook is designed to gather facts from various network devices based on their group and save the facts into a structured directory on the local host. The error handling ensures that any failures are notified and a completion message is always printed.
Okay, so that looks good. So the next question I have is, okay, so is it a problem with the win section? Do you need to see the WHEN section? Do you need to see the group names or like the host.ini file to see if that conditional section is correct?
The one condition in each task is meant to decide whether a task should run based on the group membership of the inventory host.
Yeah.
Inventory underscore hostname. Specifically, each task checks if the host is a member of a particular group like IOS, Junos, or EOS. For example, this line means the task will run only if the current host is a member of the IOS group.
Right.
To determine whether the one conditions are appropriate, check the inventory hosts file. You'll need to inspect your Ansible inventory, often named hosts. In your hosts, YAML or something similar to see how hosts are grouped. If your hosts are indeed grouped under IOS, Junos, and EOS headers, then the one condition should work as intended. Check group naming. The group names in the inventory should match exactly with the group names in the one conditions. Based on the inventory file you provided, the group names you should be checking in your one condition should align with the specific child groups for each type of device, rather than general names like IOS, Junos, or EOS.
Oh,
For
really?
example, instead of, you should use. Here's how you should update one conditions in your playbook.
Okay, it is
for
wrong.
IOS devices, for Junos devices, for EOS devices.
Okay, whoops.
You can adjust accordingly for other device types. The reason for this approach is because in Ansible's inventory logic, a host inherits the groups of its parent groups. For instance, datads01 is part of both datacenter and datacenter underscore Juno.
Okay, can you please write out the corrected playbook for me?
Certainly. Exclamation mark. Here's the corrected playbook based on the inventory file you provided.
Wow, this is so ridiculous. Oh, it even does the or. Wow, look at this. Is anyone else's jaw not dropped to the floor? Look at what it's doing. It even does the or statements. That is absolutely... I'm working with a principal network engineer right now for free whenever I want to. I'm not having to put time on their calendar.
Change here is the modification of the one.
I'm not having to convince them to work on something else than anything but exactly what I want to work on. I'm not wasting any time doing things that aren't immediately relevant to what I want to do. This is just my jaw. I'm having trouble speaking. My jaw is dropped to the floor. I can't say enough good things about this. This is absolutely absurdly good. All right, so this should do it. Hopefully, I think this is it. Okay, so ensuring that the directories exist. They already do, so yep, that'll show up in green, not yellow. Let's check the sedentary timer. So we've got quite a bit of sedentary time left. A lot of time before I need another protein hit. So we still do have the skipping behavior. So this is not an iOS. This is a Junos. Oh, no. I mean, I guess we could install Paramico. So like that's not bad. But we can see like it's no longer skipping the iOS devices. So like that's good. But the other thing we can see that's kind of weird is it looks like it's just working on all of the iOS devices right now. So like here it's working. So like for each, it's gonna like duplicate its behavior because it's doing it for each device, and then for each device it looks like it tries to do something on all devices instead of just that device, which is problematic. So the gather subset all, maybe that's the problem. So maybe if I change this to gather subset inventory hostname, maybe that'll fix it. Let me try that. You know what? I think that's just a subset of the facts. This is where I think I need to change something. Because I think this might need to be... Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really confused. So, yeah, we've got some that were skipped again. We've got some that actually weren't skipped, which is kind of interesting. Let's look at those. So this is WAN access 01 and WAN access 02. Okay, so the conditional was still false on these, and they were still skipped, even though it says that they weren't skipped. It says that they were rescued. So we still have quite a bit of work to do to prevent these from being skipped. So is there like a skip? No. Now this would make it think that it's on a bash prompt if I change that to yes, as far as I know. What if I change this from hosts all to hosts inventory hostname? Okay, so let's try that. Okay, that doesn't work. So it has to be hosts all there. All right, so okay, so we can see that it didn't the win didn't work as intended. Oh, actually no, what we saw is that we just don't have Paramico. Yeah, so maybe it'll work now that I get Paramico on there. Okay, we have to install pip3 install upgrade pip. And I hate to do this in my global environment. I'd much rather do it in a virtual environment, but nothing I can really do about that. I guess I go to an ls-a because I thought I had a virtual environment. No, I don't have one. I don't even know if Ansible would use a virtual environment actually. Oops. Oh, This is what I meant to do, but I already did it. Okay, good. Okay, so now let's try it. Now that we do have Ansible, or sorry, we do have Paramico. Okay, so the folders are already created. Let's see how long this has been going on. This has been going on for almost 3 hours, so I think I'm gonna cut this soon. And of course, it's been going on for much longer than that because I've been pausing it, but I'm just having fun. I mean, I'm getting it to work finally. It just has to stop skipping, and then it's going to be working. So this is iOS Fax. So this is not an iOS device. It's a Junos device. So I guess it's okay that it's skipping it there, but it's still, you know, if it's collecting iOS Fax for this device, it shouldn't be doing it for any more devices except that. So our tasks are really busted. The way the tasks are written in the playbook is incorrect. Okay, and now we've got a fail to authenticate problem. Transport shut down or saw EOF, which is a problem as well. Especially since I thought I fixed the authentication issues. But we can see these tasks are totally wrong. And let's try to read through what's going on. And I'll do it in the easier to look at one. Okay, so what happens is when we run this playbook, I think it'll go through. So here we've got a tasks block. So the first thing we're going to do is ensure that the directory exists. Then the next thing that we're going to do is do iOS device fax for inventory hostname. But the problem is we're doing this on all the devices. So yeah, let me try changing the subset to inventory hostname and see if that works as I want it to. But I have a feeling that that's the commands that we run on the device and not the devices we run the commands on. But we will see if my intuition about that is correct. We can also do like a delegate too. Maybe that would help. I do need to spend more time on the official files because I should know what these actually mean and like how they tie into each other. And I'm not really going to learn that from. That's more like an AGI thing, I think. So like I'm not really going to learn that from the AI. I'm gonna learn it from the person who wrote the documentation through what they wrote. Because the person who wrote the documentation is an AGI. Okay, so gather subset doesn't work. We are missing quotes. So maybe... No, but all didn't have to be in quotes, so that's not the problem. Okay, so I don't know. I'm confused. Yeah, because it seems to be doing it because it goes through and it does it for each device. Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, progress was made as far as I know. It just unfortunately skips things, which kind of isn't progress. because skipping it really doesn't do any good. And it might not even be attempting to log in if it's skipping, actually. Yeah, so conditional result was false. Let's try plugging that into the AI. So we're going to say, here's the output.
The output indicates that the tasks in the playbook were skipped due to their conditional statements evaluating to false.
Yeah.
This suggests that the conditions specified in the one clauses didn't match any hosts during playbook execution. Here are some steps to troubleshoot and possibly resolve the issue. Inventory check. Ensure that you're using the correct inventory file when running the playbook. You can specify the inventory using the I option, like Ansible playbook iPath to inventory. _playbook. YML. Group names evaluation. Ansible provides a module called debug which can be handy in such situations. You can use this to print out the group underscore names variable to understand which groups or hosts are recognized as belonging.
Okay, so let's say, okay, great. Rewrite this playbook.
The playbook queue. Provided has been updated to ensure that the tasks for gathering facts execute only for hosts that are members of the appropriate child groups I, E, data center underscore IOS, internet underscore IOS, etc. Based on your inventory file. Here's the revised playbook.
Yeah, see, these win statements are not correct.
This playbook should now correctly evaluate the child groups in the when conditions and execute the respective tasks for the appropriate devices. Ensure you run this playbook with the provided inventory file to see the expected results.
Okay. So let's take a look at the changes. Oh, there aren't any.
The inventory file. You've shared is organized by grouping devices based on their roles in the network E, G, data center, core, internet, etc. And by their network OS, E, G, data center underscore IOS, data center underscore Junos, etc. Closing parenthesis. Here's a summary of the structure. Data center. IOS devices, data center underscore IOS. Data ls01, data ls02, data ls03, data ls04 JUN.
So I think the problem is this can be greatly simplified. So I think it just has to be as simple as this. But we do need the name with the device. So we've got so we need it to look like this. So it has to have the underscore in it. So let's search for the underscore. Okay, so we've got 47 underscores here. But so the data center iOS goes here, data center, and there's something missing from there. There's oh yeah, we're missing the yeah. I mean that's fine. We don't need that. So yeah, we just need the data center iOS, data center Juniper, and then yeah. So then the core Junos. We don't need this. Don't need this. There we go. Now we need the internet EOS. Internet FortiGate, and Internet iOS. There we go. Then we need the WAN EOS. Okay, and then the WAN iOS. Okay. Floor 1 EOS. Floor 1 iOS. And then don't even think we need any of that because it's going to be in the other one. Okay, so then let's look at the win statements. So we're gonna do yeah, yep. Okay, so I think this should work. So fixing the win conditionals. Okay. See, it's still skipping, and it's now. Yeah, and it's not changing anything about. Oh, you know what? I think I forgot to sync it. Oh, is that my sedentary timer? Yeah, that's my sedentary time. Really can't ignore that. Okay, so no longer sedentary. Oops, and it's way too fast. Okay. So see how it's still doing it incorrectly. Oh, because I forgot to sync. All right, so let's try it now. Okay, so same deal. It's not doing it correctly. There are some that it doesn't seem to be skipping. So now it just seems to be kind of hanging out. It looks like the WAN, it hasn't gotten to. It also hasn't gotten to the floor of the network. So now it's just kind of hanging out. So that's definitely not as good of a result as before. Okay, so now it is transport shutdown or EOF. So it is trying to work on data LS01. Good. So it's not skipping that. It's not skipping any of the. So what we could do is we could say we can do iOS facts. We can just call it iOS facts because what this does is it gathers all of the iOS devices. Yep, so it skips any devices that aren't iOS. It skips any devices that aren't Juniper. So this is a better way to do it, I think. Yeah, so then Junos facts. Okay, and then EOS facts. EOS device facts. Okay, so clarifying. So I'll do clarifying, and I'll do it for the commented for the firewalls again once I get to those. Okay, so let's do stage of that. Okay, and then we'll do clarifying task names, commit and sync, and make sure we're synced up here. All right, and then let's just try it again. It won't behave any differently, but it should be a lot more clear what's going on now. So now it's gathering the device facts. It's ensuring that the directories exist where the output will go. It's doing that for each device on the network. All right, and now it's gathering iOS facts, so it's skipping all the devices that aren't iOS devices. And then it's gathering the facts on the devices that are iOS devices. But it's failing doing that. But we can see that's a much better name for it, much less confusing what's going on. So now we're kind of at that problematic state where it's not... But this should help with the AI too, because the AI probably can understand what's going on better now. So let's actually create a file for the AI. Okay, there's my sedentary. I'm entitled to some sedentary time if I would like it. 25 minutes of it. Feeling good right now though. I will be taking. Oh, ow! Well, as soon as I said that, I got a little bit of a headache pain. Just out of nowhere. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I really don't want to, I really kind of am on a roll here. I feel like I've made a ton of progress, and I don't want to just kind of let it go. So let's wait until this error log is completed. Feed it to the AI and see what we got going on here. And the AI might request a VVV. That's okay. We'll just put it in as is, and if it requests the VVV, that's fine. But we can see it's a lot more clear what's going on. We're gathering iOS device facts, so we're skipping all the devices that aren't iOS, and then we're failing to gather it on the devices that are. But I wish I could do it. I wish it would know in advance which ones are iOS and which one are not. But to do that, you would need to do that in the host.ini file. Which you could also, it doesn't have to be ini. The host file can also be a YAML file. Okay, but here we go. So authentication failure again. It's so frustrating because it's like, I thought I had this. I don't know why it's so insistent on authenticating in its own way, and it won't just use the authentication that I configured. Oh, I did a control. Okay, yeah. So I did Control C. Last time I run it, this time it ran completely through. So let's do a sync. And then let's feed the error log to the AI. All right.
There are multiple issues based on the output you've shared. Python version warning.
Yeah, that doesn't
Ansible
matter.
gives you a deprecation warning about the Python version and the Ansible controller. It states that starting from Ansible 2.12, you'll need Python 3.8 or newer. Current version being used is 3.6.9. It's advisable to upgrade your Python version to avoid this issue in the future. Cryptography deprecation warning. The Python version you are using is not supported by the Python core team anymore. You should upgrade the Python version to avoid any cryptography-related issues. Authentication failures. Many devices, especially those running iOS, fail due to authentication errors. These can be due to incorrect credentials in the Ansible setup. The target devices might have configuration or access issues. SSH might not be properly set up on those devices. Verify the credentials and accessibility of those devices manually to ensure that they're configured correctly. Missing Python library, NC client. This library is required to interact with devices that use any TCONF, typically Juniper devices, Junos. The error suggests the library is missing. You can install it using bash copy code of pip install NC client unexpected exception. The error module, lib, has no attribute, x509_v_flag_cb_issuer_check, seems to be an unexpected exception which might be due to the version of libraries or internal issues with the specific Ansible version. It might help to upgrade Ansible and associate libraries. If you have custom modules or scripts, ensure they're compatible with the Ansible version. Search for this specific error combined with the Ansible version you're using in the Ansible GitHub issues to see if it's a known problem.
Yeah, I can't upgrade. I tried upgrading and it didn't work. I think I need to upgrade my OS in order for it to work. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and then we're trying again, and we're just feeding everything to the error log. That's okay, because we'll need to do that anyways. Okay, so building out the folder structure, which is good. We can remove this from the error log because we don't want it to get distracted by something we're just going to ignore. So here we go, skipping all the devices that aren't Cisco devices. And here's the moment of truth. Oh, it seems to actually be maybe working better now. Oh, nope, same thing. Man, why does it insist on failing to authenticate? It just really likes not being able to authenticate, even though it's able to authenticate before. It just like randomly can't authenticate sometimes. It's really frustrating that it can't authenticate because I set up public key authentication and I can authenticate just fine from the CLI. So it seems like Ansible just randomly has these authentication errors and it just behaves the way it wants to regardless of how it's configured. Like, I don't understand what these errors are when I have no problem just doing it without Ansible. Like if I were to just use Python on its own and not try to use clunky broken Ansible that just does what it wants no matter what the configuration says.
I understand your frustration. It's true that there can be challenges when using Ansible, especially with complex configurations. While Ansible abstracts much of the complexity of tasks, this abstraction can also make it challenging to troubleshoot issues when they do arise. The promise of infrastructure as code can seem distant when dealing with these issues. Let's see if we can help you get closer to a solution. Verbosity. Running Ansible with increased verbosity can provide more details about what's happening behind the scenes. Try running your playbook with VVV to get detailed debug output. Bash copy code Ansible playbook or playbook. YML VVV SSH configuration. Check if Ansible is using the correct SSH configuration. Ansible respects the SSH configuration from tilde. SSH config. If you have specific settings for the devices there, Ansible should use them. Agent forwarding. If you're using SSH keys with an agent, ensure that agent forwarding is enabled. This can be especially useful if you're jumping through a Bastion host or if for some reason the key isn't directly accessible by Ansible. Ansible. CFG. Review your Ansible. CFG configuration file. Look for parameters related to SSH, like host underscore key underscore checking, private underscore key underscore file, or remote underscore user to ensure they're correctly set. Also, ensure that the Ansible CFG in your current directory, if there's one, matches your expectations. Sometimes, unexpected behavior arises from a rogue configuration file. Playbook settings. In your playbook or inventory, double check if you have overwritten default SSH settings. For example, Ansible underscore SSH underscore user, Ansible underscore SSH underscore private underscore key underscore file, or other related variables. Direct Ansible command. Try using the Ansible command, not Ansible playbook, to run module directly on a host to see if it works. This can help you isolate whether the issue is with the playbook or communication method. Bash copy code Ansible target underscore host empting VVV replace target underscore host with one of your device names. SSH from Ansible host. As a sanity check, manually SSH into one of the affected devices from the machine where Ansible is running.
Now, I see what's happening. It's using the wrong user, and I think it's because of my changes to the INI file. So if we go here and then we go to the INI file, and then we go to the Explorer, and then we look at the timeline. So we can see I removed all this stuff. So one of the things I removed, I think, was really necessary for it to use the right. Oh, that's not it. Maybe I removed it. Maybe I removed it a while ago. Maybe it was up here. No, I don't see that. Huh. Yeah, it's not using the right username again. It just uses randomly. It keeps trying to use the username that it's and this is the other thing too. I think it's not using the right. It's like trying to. Like I feel like this stuff should be added back. Yeah, I think this needs to be added back. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, there we go. So adding back defaults in hosts for user name adherence. Adherence. Okay, so let's see if it works now. And I'm done. Like, you know, it's a 3-hour video. I can't do anymore. I have to take my sedentary time at the very least. Well, let's see if the user changed, or if it's just using whatever user it feels like using instead of the user in the actual configuration files. Yeah, so it's just continuing to use. Oh, you know what? I think this is fine because this is ensuring the directory exists. So it's not. So okay, I was maybe wrong about what I thought it was doing. Yeah, so this actually is okay. That it's using the user in that owns the home directory. Yeah, this is totally fine. Okay, so now it's here. Let's see what user it's using here. This is where it'd be a problem. Okay, yeah, so same thing. It's using the wrong user. Man, why does it do that? That's so frustrating. Like, look, I have remote user here. I have it here as well. Like I have it in 3 different locations, which user for it to use, and it just ignores the settings. It just uses whatever it wants to do. So it's still using the wrong user. I have it configured in 3 different locations which user to use, and it just ignores the files and does whatever it wants. Why is it doing this? Like, where is it even drawing the user from? Like, it seems like it's just going with the user that when I run it in my OS bash prompt in my Ubuntu, it's just going with the Ubuntu user that I'm logged in on, and it refuses to use the specific users that I specify in the configuration files, the playbooks and INI and all of that, the host.ini. Like, it just ignores what I tell it to do, and it just uses some default, unless I do it in a specific weird way that I did before and don't remember, where it actually did use the configuration files. Like, why is this complicated? I don't understand. Like, is Ansible, like, seriously used and taken seriously and, like, widespread? Like, why aren't people just coding and, like, doing this stuff in, you know, like, a few lines of code instead of relying on this thing that doesn't do what you tell it to do? It just does its own thing.
I'm sorry to hear about the frustrations you're encountering. Ansible is indeed a powerful tool and is widely used across various industries, but like many tools, it has its nuances and sometimes may appear to behave unexpectedly. The behavior you're describing is uncommon, and there are reasons you might be facing these challenges. Let's break it down. Hierarchy of configuration. Ansible determines its settings based on a hierarchy. It starts from the default settings and then applies overrides in a specific order.
Okay.
Ansible underscore environment
It
variables
must
Ansible.
be doing that.
CFG in the current directory, tilde. Ansible. CFG in the home directory, etc. Ansible, Ansible. CFG if you define the same setting in multiple places, the last one Ansible encounters will take precedence. Explicit host group variables. Within your inventory file or within the host underscore vars group underscore vars directories, you can specify Ansible underscore SSH underscore user. If defined, this should override any default settings. Command line arguments. Anything passed directly to the Ansible playbook command will override file settings. For instance, if you run Ansible playbook my underscore playbook, YMLU my underscore user, it will use my underscore user regardless of settings in any Ansible. CFG or inventory file. Playbook definitions. Within your playbook, you can define the user to use for tasks or plays. This is done with the remote underscore user directive. It will override most other settings. YAML copy code hosts. All remote underscore user. My underscore user tasks. Name. Sample task. Verify with debug. To ensure what user Ansible is trying to use, you can add a debug task at the start of your playbook. YAML copy code hosts. All tasks. Name. Print user debug. Var. Ansible underscore SSH underscore user. This will show which user Ansible believes it should use based on all the configurations it has loaded. Defaults. If none of the above methods are used to define the user, Ansible defaults to the user you're running the command is, which seems to be the behavior you're seeing. If you're still finding that Ansible is ignoring your configurations, check for syntax errors or misconfigurations in your Ansible. CFG and inventory file. A small mistake might cause Ansible to ignore the file. Use Ansible config dump to see all configuration settings and where they're being sourced from. This can give you insights into which file or setting is being picked up by Ansible. Lastly, while Ansible is a widely used tool and works for many use cases, it's not always the best fit for everyone or every situation. If you find that another tool or custom script is more suited to your needs, that's perfectly valid. Tools like SSH Fast, Paramigo in Python, or even plain SSH in loop and bash might be simpler and more direct for certain tasks.
Exactly. Thank you. Just
The right
use
choice
bash
often depends on the
scripting.
scale, complexity, and specifics of the problem you're trying to solve.
I mean, I guess if you've got a giant
I made that.
network, but
Changes to your playbook to add a few of the suggestions. Define the remote underscore user directive. Added a debug task at the start to print the user. Left the Ansible config dump outside of the playbook because it's a separate command you'd run in the CLI, not within a playbook.
okay, I guess I'm willing to try this because it should give some like more debugging stuff. But I need to hang up this video. It's just been way too long. I need to take a more significant break of sedentary time. So I'm just gonna
Remember, to run the Ansible config dump command separately on your CLI to check all configuration settings and their sources.
Okay. So I am gonna put this in here and then try it. So let's take a look at the changes. So yeah, we've got this debugging command to print out the user, which, I mean, we already know what the user is anyway. We know it's the wrong user, but so yeah, let's just catch it red-handed quick. We already know it's doing it, but we'll see it more clearly. It's so frustrating. Oh, what? Okay, now it's weird because it says it's using the right user, but then when it actually goes and does it, it doesn't use the right user. So in this case, I want it to use the GNS3 user. Yeah, it says it's using the right user, but it doesn't do it. That's so weird. I do not know what's going on. Alright, you know what? I'm just going to end it here. I'm just going to put this video out of its misery because this video is very miserable. We made a huge progress. We climbed the mountain, but the valley contains another mountain. So, yep, that's it. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one.